Good morning, people. I haven't put my shirt back on due to certain comments. I've put my shirt back on because the temperature has dropped down to about 12, 14 degrees centigrade here in the UK, so I can put my shirt back on. I wasn't doing it for any other reason, to be quite honest. And here is actually the subject I'm going to talk about. Since I hit 100 subscribers, the trolls are circling. It was inevitable. I mean, I've dealt with trolls since I first started using Facebook forums for video games and various other hobbies. They're always there. They're just a fact of any time you say something or put yourself out there on the internet, trolls are going to troll. Years ago, I would react to them. But a friend of mine who ran his own forum for the group Elite Dangerous, hi Damien, he taught me a few times, the lesson didn't really sink in then, that the way to respond to a troll was not even to bother reacting, unless they give you a particularly hilarious put down. Thus far on my channel, I think I've identified two types. I think I have had encounters with the common cave troll. Lives in mummy's basement. Entirely subsists on Cheetos and Mountain Dew. That when he bangs a broom handle on the roof of the basement, mummy comes down and delivers. Wanks with joy. This is getting demonetized again, isn't it? Pleasures himself with joy. That would have been better. Whenever he upsets someone, and when he can't upset someone, he pleasures himself while staring up at his portraits of Trump, Putin, and Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage. Then I think I've encountered two other subtypes that are closely related. You have the roid troll. These are insecure fitness freaks who obviously take muscle building steroids, which makes them hyper aggressive but turns certain areas of their body into very small things indeed. They are determined, they are superior alpha males and probably follow that dickhead who got arrested for human trafficking in Romania. Andrew Tate. You know, they probably also really like Joe Rogan as well. Because their steroid-addled brains can't cope with reality. This type often interbreeds with the fash troll. You know, the extreme right-wing neo fascist Viking. I used to encounter a fair few of these on various Viking mythology and paganism forums. They are a breed all to themselves, it has to be said. I mean, occasionally people who aren't into early medieval Scandinavian reenactment will say, I don't live in the real world, but boy, oh boy, these people, woo, wee doggy. And, a recently emerging species I've noticed as well would be the roost troll. These are sad, deluded believers that the Soviet Union is still a powerful, mighty steamroller that, will conquer the world and reclaim Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, will sweep through what's left of the Ukraine, because obviously the Ukraine is on its last legs. There are various other types. I mean, I shall probably do an expanding video as and when I think these types pop up. I kind of think I've encountered a weird troll as well. The kind of person who asks slightly strange questions, but this species I think seems harmless enough. I don't mind them. They're quite cute. Trolls in general are endemic of modern society. More coffee required. I shall allow you to follow me into the kitchen. My Spitfire. The wall. She's not getting breakfast yet, otherwise she'll want her evening meal at about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. Won't you, Alex? Eh? Go to YouTube. Oi, look at me. Non-cooperative. Well, she's a cat, isn't she? Cats are always non-cooperative. It's in their nature. It's very human of them, isn't it? Ever since the rise of social media, the problem of trolls has been very apparent. It gave people who perhaps have social difficulties and trauma, who don't deal with it in a positive manner, a way of, in a very twisted fashion, making themselves feel better by feeding off on other people's tears and anger, which is just such a disturbing phenomenon. tiny bit of me feels a little bit sorry for them. How do you get like that? And I think with some of them there is an amount of envy. This is something I believe I've encountered touches of in real life. I mean, I could be wrong, that's just my opinion. But with a partner who's a qualified psychiatric nurse and knows a thing or two about human nature, at various points, especially in the last 2 or 3 months, she has, when I've pointed out that in certain situations I think there's a certain amount of envy. So unprofessional with my camera work. But let me recap. Certain situations, there seems to me a certain amount of envy going on. I am, compared to many with my years of experience in reenactment, more knowledgeable and more skilled. I'm not stronger. There are people who are a hell of a lot stronger than me, because I am of lightweight to average build. I do not deny that. I'm not ashamed of it. I get several comments on my hard body. I may, like I said, lightweight or average, but muscles I do have are in top-notch condition for a man of 52. It's possible with intense workouts I could improve that, but my partner likes me the way I am. And to me, keeping my partner content is one of my top priorities. So do these comments hurt? Briefly. Not for long though, because it's pointless. And I am of an age where I can still separate the internet from reality. This, I think, is a problem that's endemic to our society. Too many people have problems separating reality from fantasy. Too many people seem to only function in one way or another on the internet. Now, if you function on the internet in a positive way and don't interact in real life really, then I think possibly you need help, but in a good, in a positive way. If all you spend your time doing is being negative on the internet, bullying, ridiculing, slurring, then you have serious issues. Like serious issues, serious, maybe at some point you're going to go, grab a firearm, or in the UK, something bladed, and go berserk at some point if you don't get your way. And I hope that if that's the case, you get arrested before you can do someone serious harm. Yeah. Or perhaps you decide you finally wake up, look in the mirror one day and realise what a pathetic, twisted piece of shit you are, and decide to take matters in your own hands and save the government the expense of locking you up. Just planting seeds, you know. Demonetisation. Not that I have any monetisation anyway. I currently, although I have very little monthly income, I currently am not really bothered about that. You know, it's not an issue. I don't do this to make a profit. I do it because I like doing it. I do it because my loyal subscribers encourage me. Talking of which, loyal subscribers, especially those who engage, I wish to float an idea with you people. Wherever you are in the world, I want to share with you an idea I have. I had an idea when, after the death of my mentor, Rurik Gunnar Magnusson, I decided that I owed it to him to get back into reenactment after a long time away. A couple of years, I think it was, at least. So I started training regularly and looking into groups. And I floated an idea that is a reenactment and living history group, internet based at first, that didn't matter the period or whether they were people who were into living history, e.g. crafting in the old-fashioned way, or combat. Specifically devoted to people with autism, ADHD, and indeed those with physical disabilities that do not limit them to not being able to do combat within certain restrictions, or those with physical disabilities who want to do living history, to share ideas and enthusiasm for history, this kind of thing. You know, because I have very limited internet skills, it so far hasn't got off the ground because I'm very busy trying to actually earn money in the real world. Has to be done. Well, I would like, first of all, let me explain where the idea comes from. Obviously, Full Spectrum Warriors, yes, it's the idea that it's for people who are on the spectrum somewhere. But also the idea, I know there was a computer game, but this is not where I based the idea. Way back in the distant past, a certain publication that had been around since my childhood, 2000 AD, British science fiction, graphic novel, to me it was a comic. They ran a story called Full Spectrum Warrior for a while. It didn't catch on, but I kind of liked it. It was, I think he was originally a soldier who had this chip implanted in his head. And what it did was, if he got himself in a stressful combat situation, it would automatically flick him into the mind of a warrior from history that was best suited to deal with that situation, whether it be a legendary samurai, a Mongol horse warrior, a medieval knight. And I feel, to a certain extent, certainly I have a lot of friends who are high-functioning autistic ADHD. We are remarkably adaptable people, especially in crisis situations. We can't fill in a form to save our lives, but in crisis situations, click. That needs to be doing. We need to be doing that. Do that. My hope, my fellow tismers, as I like to say, I dedicate that one to an old friend who I've sadly fallen out with. Different situation to one I've talked about. Yeah. Basically, I combine these ideas into the Full Spectrum Warriors. I wish to say to my subscribers and engaged, especially the engagers, if you wish to get yourself a t-shirt printed, because I cannot afford the finances to actually start merch, and it's a bit early with only 100 subscribers, 107, 108, something like that. If you want to print yourself out a t-shirt with on the front Full Spectrum Warrior and on the back my channel, you would be doing me a huge favour. T-shirt printing is fairly cheap. With the right printing paper, I get my partner to print out images from the internet to put on the back of 2 of my jackets. I like it because they're temporary, and if I had something permanent, I might change my mind. So yeah, if any of you feel like doing that as a favour to me, I would much appreciate it. Whatever colour you want, I'm not fussy. Whatever writing style you want, I'm not fussy. Full Spectrum Warrior on the front, my channel on the back. And that is the idea I was trying to get across. So if you want to help spread the good word, I would very much appreciate it. As usual, thoughts and comments are appreciated. Trolls will just be ignored because I ain't got time for you. Yeah, I do appreciate any feedback from this idea.